What's up guys, David here, and Google just recently announced the new version of Android called M. We don't know exactly what dessert the M stands for just yet. My guess is either marshmallow or maybe Mentos. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. But after Google I/O and having the developer preview of M installed on my Nexus 6, I've gotten a pretty good idea of what I think are the top 10 best new features. So we'll start off with probably the coolest new feature at number 1 in Now on Tap. So if you've ever used Google Now, you know just how smart it can be. And with Now on Tap, Google Now is getting even smarter, going way beyond just grabbing information from Google's own services. In Android M, when you tap and hold on the home button from any app, Google Now will scan what's on your screen and give you relevant information. For example, if you're in the messaging app and a friend is talking about a certain new movie, tapping and holding on the home button will give you information like showtimes, reviews, and links to related apps like Flickster. If the information you want isn't available, you can always just ask for it. For example, if you're listening to a song on Spotify by Eminem and want to know just how old Eminem is these days, you can simply say, "Okay Google, how old is he?" and Google Now will give you the answer using its contextual abilities to know that you're talking about Eminem without you actually having to say so. Pretty damn impressive. 2. Doze. In pretty much every new version of Android, Google tries to make battery life better, and Android M is no exception. This time around, Google introduced a new feature called Doze, which is said to significantly improve a device's standby battery life by putting apps into a deeper sleep. So effectively, what Doze does is give up a little bit of app freshness during standby in exchange for a longer battery life. Of course, Doze only activates when you have your phone, or more likely your tablet, just lying there unplugged for hours at a time. Doze will detect this idle state by the lack of significant movement detected by the motion sensors and will then restrict app activity down to a bare minimum. The result, at least according to Google's test, is devices running on M improve their standby battery life by up to 2 times, which is absolutely huge. 3. App backup. Whether you're getting a new phone or doing a hard reset, eventually you're gonna have to go through the somewhat tedious process of resetting up everything on your phone. Right now, Android tries to help you with this process by automatically reinstalling your apps after signing into Google. But none of your app's data and settings are actually restored, so essentially, you're still kind of starting over from scratch. In Android M, however, not only will you have your apps automatically reinstalled for you, you'll also have them more fully restored, with M backing up to 25 megabytes of data per app. Obviously, you won't have all your cache backed up, so don't expect things like songs in apps like Spotify to be included, but having at least important data and settings for your apps automatically restored is definitely a nice feature to have. 4. Fingerprint support. So we've seen phones with fingerprint scanners on Android for a while now, but these were always third-party implementations. With M, Google is finally baking fingerprint support right into the OS. As long as the phone has a fingerprint scanner, you'll be able to use it to unlock the device, make payments with Android Pay, which is basically Apple Pay but on Android, authenticate Play Store app purchases, and use the fingerprint scanner for third-party apps since Google will be giving developers access to the scanner, similar to how Touch ID works on the iPhone. Nothing necessarily mind-blowing here, but some much-needed catching up by Android. 5. App Drawer and Launcher. In M, the app drawer has been updated to where you now have the ability to search for an app at the top, see your most recently used apps in the first row below it, and scroll through an alphabetized app list that together should make finding an app much easier. The widget menu has also been revamped to neatly organize widgets by their respective apps, and you can finally uninstall an app directly from the home screen instead of having to go through the app drawer or settings. 6. App permissions. Right now on Android, when you try to download an app from the Play Store, you're given a list of things that the app wants access to, like your contacts, location, microphone, or camera. If you don't want to give an app access to even just one of the things on the list, well, too bad. Either you give the app access to everything it's asking for, or you can't download the app. There's really no in between. But all of that is about to change with Android M, where you'll be able to download an app without having to grant it access to everything at installation, and instead, you'll only be asked for permissions at the first time the app actually needs them. So, for example, if you've been using WhatsApp and one day you decide that you want to send a voice message, you'll be asked for access to your microphone. By asking for this permission at the very moment that the app needs it, you'll have the context to be able to understand why the app wants the permission and can therefore make a much more informed decision. If you decide to grant the app access, great, you'll be able to use that feature. If you deny the app access, obviously you won't be able to use it, but at least you'll still be able to use the rest of the app, which just wasn't possible on Lollipop or below. 7. Adoptable storage. Phones with SD slots are becoming somewhat of an endangered species, but with Android M, those SD slots are going to be even more valuable than they are today, with the ability for a phone to adopt an SD card as internal storage. Meaning your high-speed SD card will work pretty much the same way your internal storage does without any of the limitations that SD cards have traditionally had. Of course, SD cards have to be formatted and encrypted for this feature to work, so you won't be able to use the SD card in other devices for security reasons, but that's a cost that I think most people would be willing to pay for effectively doubling or even quadrupling their internal storage. 8. Direct share. Android has been good about sharing options since day one, making it possible to share content from one app using another. And in M, it's only getting better with direct share. With this new feature, Android M will pick up on your sharing habits to help reduce the amount of steps that you need to take in order to share things. For example, if you often share pictures from your gallery via Hangouts to a specific friend, Android will present this option directly from the share menu to be able to do it in one click instead of having to press share and then Hangouts and then find your friend from a contact list. It's not a huge feature by any means, but it's actually one I'm really looking forward to. 9. USB Type-C. It looks like the long run that micro USB ports have had on Android is finally coming to an end, with Android M supporting USB Type-C. So what will USB Type-C bring to the table to justify having to throw out all those extra micro USB cables? A lot actually, but the main ones are faster charging, a reversible charging port to make it easier to plug in either direction, and two-way charging. So not only can you charge your phone, but you can charge someone else's phone with your phone, turning your phone into somewhat of an external battery pack. 10. Web and app experience. So there are actually two features that improve the web and app experience in Android M. The first is Chrome Custom Tabs, which allows apps to use a customized Chrome tab when a user clicks on a web link right from within the app itself, giving you the advantages of Chrome like safe passwords and security without having to leave the app itself and open Chrome separately. The second feature is App Links, where clicking on a link to a certain URL will automatically open up the appropriate app when available. For example, if you get an email with a link to a tweet, clicking on the link will automatically open up the Twitter app without you actually having to tell the phone to do so in a pop-up dialog. You can turn this feature off on a per app basis if you want, but for the most part, just like with custom tabs, it should make handling links you encounter on Android a little bit more seamless. So there you have it. Those are the top 10 best new features in Android M. The recurring theme, at least with most of the new features like Now on Tap and Direct Share, is that Google is trying to make your smartphone smarter by predicting what you want before you actually need it, making Android a little bit more convenient to use. Anyways, that about does it for me in this video. If you liked it and want to see more content just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the very next episode.